What it do, baby? It's High School Sports Talk Plus. The sign's crooked, but that's all right. We're crooked half the time, too. I'm Matt Hatfield. He's never crooked. That is the coach, Ed Young, the straight man.
I'm the straight guy today.
And I'm going to take the glasses off, try to cover my beard. I can't. But it is High School Sports Talk Plus, the video show where we give you all the information and news and notes and commentary when it comes to high school sports across the state of Virginia, and especially in the Hampton Roads 757 area code. How's your summer been, Coach?
Great. Summer is always great. Love it. Recharge the batteries. Getting my knee back into where it needs to be. It's great summer.
Good deal. Now, before we get this thing started, I am hyper today because of the thank you, our sponsor, Minute Maid, Tropical Punch. It's all gone. We didn't get one for Ed's, but that's just how it works here.
That's how it works.
But you're always welcome and encouraged to sponsor the video show. Drop us a little comment below or shoot us an email, hatfieldsports@gmail.com. You hear us every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon on High School Sports Talk, brought to you by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1.
Right back there.
We were privileged enough to have in studio on today's show, the July 6th edition, Green Run football coach Brandon Williams and one of his standout players, Lakeem Rudolph, who is committed to Virginia Tech. So if you missed that, it'll be up on VirginiaPreps.com later. And perhaps one of the players that next month, when we come back in August, will be our Players of the Year. Everybody loves the District Players of the Year we do for the 5 local districts, the Beach, the Eastern, the Southeastern, the Peninsula, and the Bay Rivers. Will come back in August, give you our picks for offense and defense, and even our state championship picks. Because Coach Young told you last year, a couple of those state championship teams.
I got 2 out of 6 right. That's
and at
not
the
good.
end, Ed's going to ask me, I'm not going to give him my picks today, but he's going to ask me, will the teams that won it last year repeat next year? But we're here today to give you our top 10 games. Last year we were in a different studio. We're back in our normal studio for this. The top 10 games and the games to see. I gave you mine on the 757 at 6, which you can hear weeknights 6 to 7 on ESPN Radio 94.1. And occasionally Coach Young pops his head in there. And today Coach Young has his top games each week in the 757. So without further ado, sir, you give us the first game. It starts a week later this year. We usually start the second to last week in August, but it's you petitioned the VHSL. You asked your good buddies to move back to the last week of August. I didn't like it, but they listened to you, not me.
It's the way it should be.
And it's going to be that August 29th and 30th weekend where you have 3 pretty good choices in my eyes. You got that Lafayette-Goochland game. Lafayette, a Class 3 or Class 4 regional finalist, going down to Class 3. Goochland was a Class 2 state runner-up, moving up to Class 3. You've also got the big one with Lake Taylor and Phoebus on a Saturday afternoon at Darling Stadium, the same day as Old Dominion hosting Norfolk State as they open up its brand new stadium. And, of course, you have in the Beach District, Salem and Lansdowne, which has been a real tussle to open up the year. So which direction did you go to get it all kickstarted?
I stayed with Lake Taylor Phoebus.
Why?
To me, it just has that much more marquee attraction. I know you're going to tell me Goochland, Lafayette.
Devin McCrae's very good at Goochland. Lafayette brings back a lot.
And I put them down with a star with an asterisk next to it as the backup big game of that weekend. And I have Lansdowne-Salem coming in 3rd for that weekend.
Well, Lansdowne-Salem, I believe each of the last 5 meetings have been decided by 2 touchdowns or less, and 4 of those were 13-7, 15-14, 21-17, 22-21, so 6 points or fewer. Lafayette-Goochland intrigues me, but it's hard to go wrong with Lake Taylor-Phoebus, Ed, just because of last year's classic, 21-17 on a Thursday night at Darling. This time it's on a Saturday afternoon. It is back at Darling again. Jeff Foster, as a sophomore, drove down the field against Phoebus for the winning score. They got him back along with Malik Newton in the backfield, and Phoebus should be bolstered by a lot of good talent. Corey Wilson, and they've got some guys up front on the defensive line that are very good. Jalen White, Anthony Turner in the backfield. So that has the makings to be a really good game, and maybe it's Chris Daniels this time leading Phoebus to a victory at the end. I think both of those quarterbacks have proven they're not maybe the elite of the elite, but they're very good, and they have strong running games to boot, and defenses are always swarming.
I'm not picking a winner out of those 2 games yet.
Of course you're not, because you're a waffler.
Yeah, I'm going to wait. I got to get my sources together.
He's not a waffler. He's a pancake guy.
I got to get my sources together.
Your sources.
All good.
Who's your sources?
I can't tell you. Nobody reveals sources. You don't ever reveal sources.
Okay, so you're not going to make a pick ever, or you're going to wait till the game to do it?
I'm going to wait till a few days before to make the pick for that one.
And then when it kicks off, you're going to text me that you changed your pick, right?
No, it'd probably
like you do with the Kentucky Derby.
After they kick off.
Okay.
Once I say who gets the ball first.
Oh, that's how it works, right? You go to the team that gets the ball first.
There you go.
Even if they throw a pick 6, you just go with that.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. The next week is September, and you'll be going back to school, which is always a blessed, joyous occasion to celebrate.
They're doing it so long.
What'll be the game of that Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night that you will be most interested in?
This game has no parallel to it. Highland
no what?
Springs, no parallel.
Oh.
There's no other game you're going to tell me that's as good or better than Highland Springs, Oscar Smith.
I agree. That last game was number 3 on my top 10 list of Lake Taylor Phoebus, and I've got Highland Springs Oscar Smith as numero uno, number
There we
1.
go.
They've never played before, so that's intriguing. Highland Springs coming back to the 757. You know the last time they came to the 757 when it was?
3 years ago.
No, they played in the state championship game against Stonebridge. That was a trick question.
Trick question.
Yeah, I got you. At Hampton University, they won 37-26.
We were there.
No, I wasn't there. I was at Liberty. You might have been there.
I was
Hampton.
there. You weren't there.
Yeah, I was at Liberty. But nonetheless, they have come to the 757 for a regular season game before, and that was back in 2015 when they beat Northview 49-21. Now, Oscar Smith, they usher in the Chris Scott era against the defending 4-time state champs. This is going to be a real intriguing game, and to see who the quarterback's going to be for them at Oscar Smith under Chris Scott is going to be something to watch out for. Defense should be strong, led by Malcolm Britt at linebacker. You think this will be a higher scoring game or a lower scoring game with the Springers and the Tigers in front of what should be a packed house, sellout crowd? Get there early.
My tendency is both teams in the 30s.
Both teams in the 30s.
I think it's going to be
Why is
high
that?
scoring. I just feel both teams can put points on the board. We know Highland Springs does. Oscar Smith probably more known as a hard-nosed defensive team, but I think they'll put points on too.
Okay.
I really think it's both teams in the 30s.
All right, as you move the next week to September the 13th, Friday the 13th. That's always a day that you circle on the calendar, and you make sure
It's a lucky day for some.
You don't wear like black and red. You don't wear your black and red that day, do you? You just
I wear it every day. Black and red every day.
You got white on today. What are you talking about?
That's our trim color. We have black, red, and
well, where's the black and red? You said you're wearing it. Oh, I'm not looking down there. Ooh.
I got my shoes is black and my shorts are red.
Moving on, September 13th, what do you like for that Friday? You going to Norfolk?
Maury, Lake Taylor.
Maury, Lake Taylor. You like that one. You know, when they play together, I mean, we got to be careful in saying this because they'll think that we're a proponent of something that includes, football games at the high school level, which we don't condone that. However, if you like points, and Ed Young loves points, and he loves the over, you take that when Lake Taylor and Maury get together because in 2017 it was 62-48. That's 110 points, right? And last year it was 49-35. Lake Taylor won that game 49-35. And you know how many yards Malik Newton ran for in that game for Lake Taylor?
It's over 300, wasn't it?
You're close. I'm going to tell you how many yards he had. He had, to be exact, on the Maury defense, Malik Newton ran for 273 yards and 4 touchdowns. You were pretty close. Mm-hmm. Maury did pile up 328 yards on Lake Taylor. So that game is the one. Could it be a change in the guard? Could Maury take over Norfolk in the Eastern District this year? Do they finally beat Lake Taylor for the first time in a long time?
I'm sticking with Lake Taylor. I'm actually going to pick this game and say Lake Taylor wins in a close.
Maury fans, that was Ed Young. So if you're watching Keandre Lambert and C.J. Beasley and Darian Varner and Paul Hudson III and Tyshawn Granger and Deshaun Peel, I'm rattling off a lot of names. They all have offers, by the way. All very good players for Doree McCain's Commodores. Send your hate tweets to wait, you don't have a Twitter, do you?
Well, send them to you, and I'll
I'll give them to him. Just send them to me. But remember, I didn't say you're going to lose again. That's him. He's the bad guy. Haven't beaten Lake Taylor since 2009. But I will also say this, because I'm sure Hank Sawyer will see this. He's got a good squad with Akeem Wright on defense, spearheading that group. That expects to be a really good game with 4,000 plus people, maybe 5,000 plus people in attendance. It was on a Monday night last year, and it was really good. It was muggy, humid. People were cramping up. They had to get pickle juice. Let's hope it's not as hot this time. Let's hope the weather is good and it's a real tight, fun, competitive battle between two teams that made it to the state playoffs last year. Lake Taylor losing in the championship game to Woodgrove and Maury falling in the state semis to Highland Springs.
And I don't see any reason how it won't be a good game. I pick Lake Taylor, but I pick them in a close win. Won't be shocked, surprised. Maury wins it.
Hasn't been decided by less than 20 points since 2010 when the Titans won 26-7. That was the year after Maury beat them and doubled up 14-7. So we're due for, I take it back, actually last year was 49-35. So it hasn't been decided by less than 2 touchdowns since Maury won the game 14-7. So there you have it. All right, moving right along. So that's September 13th. What do you got for us September the 20th? Oh, you going to the Great American Rivalry Series?
Yeah, the big rivalry. It's probably, I didn't really look to see if there's some other really tough games. I just like this rival. Could be the best when these programs are both at their best. It could be the best rival in the area. Hampton, Phoebus.
You know what's wild is I had this game at number 5 on my top 10 list, which would seem like it's blasphemy, right? Hampton, Phoebus, you think of it being number 1. I mean, it's such an old traditional rivalry. It's been for many years a great game. They met in the playoffs. I mean, literally from 2012 and 1998, Ed, they met in the playoffs 8 times. So it was, now in different divisions with Hampton in Class 5 and Phoebus in Class 3. You don't get that second meeting in the postseason. But it's been lopsided in recent years. In fact, if you look at the head-to-head series, Phoebus has won 12 of the last 15. There's only been one overtime game since 2011. Last year it was a 35-0 shutout for Phoebus. 2 years before that it was a 44-0 Hampton shutout with Daz Newsome dazzling now at UNC. So 2 years ago it was a really good game, 14-12. So we alternate close, blowout, close, blowout. Now it's probably due for a close game with these two, right?
I would say so.
All right, Crabbers and the Phantoms, be there at B Square September 20th at Darling Stadium.
I'm going with Phoebus, maybe just a little in that game over Hampton as Hampton recovers from a not-so-good year last year.
They were young, 4-6. I think they'll be
Yes.
better. I won't put them at the top of the district, but they'll make a climb back up near the top. All right, to close out September, what do you have? September the 28th. It's a Saturday game.
Black and blue game. I call it black and blue.
Is that
It's a
because
bruise
people
game.
get bruised up?
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of bruising in this
Who's
game.
going to make you black and blue?
It's Indian River, Oscar Smith.
I know who's going to make him black and blue. The team that he picks against, they're going to come beat him up in the studio right here.
I'm not picking a winner of this one. Indian River,
you're
Smith.
going to stick on the fence
Going
again.
back to the waffling.
You're sitting on the fence.
No, that hurts.
Sit on the fence with
Sticking with
pancakes.
Indian River, Oscar Smith.
Have you never sat on a fence?
No.
Ever in your whole life?
Probably when I was a little tyke.
Okay.
Run through the playground, jump fences. That probably did. Probably got caught on the fence.
He can't sit on the fence now because he'd break it.
The way they make fences nowadays, you're right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to do it.
So Oscar Smith and Indian River, what intrigues you about this game other than the fact it's 2 new coaches, Chris Scott and Marcus Farabee,
That's
meeting
one.
head-to-head?
And the interesting is we all know Chris Scott's background. He's been a head coach, been very successful. Marcus Farabee has been an assistant. I do believe it's his first head coaching job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's 2 new coaches only to the school they're at, but Marcus Farabee is new coach in terms of head coach, period. So, interesting on this one.
New quarterbacks. Be curious to see if there's any luster lost. I put it a little lower than I had last year. Was my number 1 game. It's number 4 for me this year. Indian River has the more upper tier names, but I think Oscar Smith has the deeper team this year. So that'll
Be a good way to look at it.
maybe a fun matchup to watch out for. As we turn to October, where are you going? Are you going to your home city of Suffolk?
Yeah, I'm going to throw in the
Southland.
Battle of Suffolk. Kings Fork, Nansemond River.
Wait a second. Battle of Suffolk. You didn't put Lakeland up there.
Lakeland will finish 3rd in Suffolk this year.
Wow.
behind Kings Fork and Nansemond River.
I hope that's bulletin board material for Joe Jones's Cavaliers you just gave.
I'm not disrespecting my hope.
Sound like it to me.
I'm saying of the 3 Suffolk schools, it's Kings Fork and Nansemond River up there. Lakeland is going to finish 3rd.
So disrespectful.
And I'm going to actually go one more step and think Nansemond River will win the Battle of Suffolk between Kings Fork and Lakeland this year in football.
Kermit Bugs is going to unfollow you. Wait, you don't have a Twitter. He can unfollow you. He's going to be mad at you. But I hope, if they win the game, then he's going to call in and talk smack to you. He has every right to.
They have a right to if they win it. But I'm not downing Kings Fork. Kings Fork is going to be good.
Are you going to wear the big war shirt with war on your chest? Are you going to wear that?
I don't know if I have one.
They're going to have you come run out, as Coach Conyers and the crew going to have you come run out of the
dress
tunnel?
me in a mascot.
Oh, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? It really would be. If
dress like
they
an
give you one of, do they carry like a spear? What do they carry in their hand?
I'll not carry that.
Oh, that would be dangerous. You might poke somebody's eye out. Hey, kid, you poked my eye out.
Could be. Could be.
So that's the game you're going with. I got that on my list too, number 7. Bugs now at Kings Fork. Coach Bugs, see what he did. He was at Old Maine. He's got college experience. He won championships back in his Air Surrey Cougar days. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store for that. We know Nansemond River will be very good. At least we expect them to be in Class 5. All right, what's the next game on the list for October the 11th?
October 11th. inter-district.
Intro.
Maury, Ocean Lakes.
This is a real fascinating game because you don't see the Beach play out of district very often.
Right.
And these two have never met before. And I'll be really intrigued to see if both of them coming off state semifinal losses, Maury to Highland Springs, Ocean Lakes to Manchester, if either one of them really sees their playoff seeding, because we expect them both to be in the playoffs,
Yes.
damaged by the outcome of this game. Or maybe even helped in the outcome as a win for, the Commodores or the Dolphins there.
Yeah, again, it's October, too early to pick this one. I'll
I
pick
agree
it
with that.
later. I want to see how these two teams go before I pick it.
I think what could be an advantage for Maury on the road, we shall see, is most of their better guys are upperclassmen. Ocean Lakes' two best players are arguably rising juniors in Miles Alston and Naquan Brown. Now, by mid-October, Joe Jones might have some of the senior leadership figured out and who the leaders of the group, but that'll be right. It's an interesting time for that game to see what happens, because the very next week, Ocean Lakes has another game that's on your list on the 18th against a city rival.
That's true. Ocean Lakes is going to go against Salem. Salem is going to be a big player this year in the Beach District. Of course, what year are they not? Ocean Lake is always there, too. So, combine that. 8th week. This could determine Beach District. Ocean Lake, Salem. So, that was my game of that week.
It sounds like you're leaning towards the Sun Devils at this particular juncture, although you are known to change your mind. And
Won't divulge that at this point. Still way too early.
okay, very, very interesting. All right, so Ocean Lake, Salem, October 18th. Will you tell us that the winner of that game wins the district, or are you not ready to give us that?
Not ready to give you that, but
Boy, he doesn't give us anything on the video show. Ugh.
But I'm going to say it's a good probability.
Except a bunch of nonsense. I would say, I'm going to put my neck out there and tell you that the winner of that game will finish either outright in first or tied for first in the Beach District. So I kind of put my neck out there.
Okay.
October the 24th, 25th. It's a Thursday night game you like.
Going back to the
PD.
peninsula,
Yeah.
Woodside against Phoebus.
What do you like about this game?
Woodside, we always talk in terms of that great athletes. Danny Dodson does a great job with them. We know Phoebus is primed, ready to go. They didn't get a state title last year.
Close.
Very close. I think they have a great shot at it this year. I've not seen all the other state teams. I almost want to go out on a limb and say, here, July, whatever we are in July, that Phoebus is going to win a state title.
Lord Bonatot, I hope you're taking notes. He picked them to Phoebus to win a state championship. They got a lot of talent over there. My man Jamie Harless with
That's what
Hunter
I'm saying.
Rice and Evan
That's
Eller
what
and
I'm
all those
saying.
guys.
If, once I do all my homework,
Isaiah Stevens, who's committed to Coastal Carolina. Colston Powers.
I still love Phoebus.
You can't pronounce Lord Bonatot, that's why you won't pick him.
Lord Bonatot.
So you messed it up already. Bonatot, not Toff. There's no F.
Bonatot.
All right. Woodside has only beaten Phoebus twice since 2005. They beat them in 2011, 14-9, which snapped that record win streak they were on. And they beat them in 2016 on a shutout, 15-0. But they've had a lot of close losses to them. 21-17 in 2014, 13-6 2 years ago, 19-13 last year. So, as strange as this may sound, and they got Khalif Jemison, who's going to be a big athlete for them, returning, two-sport athlete. The Woodside Phoebus game has sometimes been better than the Hampton Phoebus game in a strange way. It didn't make my top 10 list, though.
You're right. It very well could. I just think it's going to be an interesting game that late in the season. Second to last regular date.
Yeah, and Woodside moving down from Class 6 to Class 5, so they're now in that picture with Indian River and Maury and Cox and Bayside and Salem. And a lot of teams there jockeying for spots, you figure, in Class 5 and Phoebus in Class 3, where they look to be one of the top contenders along with Norcom and Lafayette. I don't see a Norcom or Lafayette game on your list here. Why is that?
Well, I put Lafayette Goochland as honorable mention on back in
All right.
first weekend in the thing. I don't have
A Norcom game.
a Norcom game.
Robert Jackson's not going to talk to you now.
Robert Jackson's won pretty much all of his games without my help, so I think he'll be
That's
okay.
true. He doesn't need you
You don't need
around.
my help.
He's got some good pieces back with Jacoby Smith at quarterback and Karan Prunty catching the ball at wide receiver. All right, what's our last couple games on the list here?
November 8th, the 10th week of the season, I like to go back to the beach and put down Cox and Salem.
Do you? Okay. What do you like about the Cox-Salem game? No Tavion Robinson, so who's going to lead the way for Cox
It's
this year?
going to be more action leading by committee.
Okay.
There'll be more doing that. The ground and pound of Cox returns. Salem, we talked about them in some earlier games. Maybe this is the game that decides the Beach District.
There's two really good games that night. You also have Ocean Lakes Bayside and the Beach.
That's a tough one.
And that's going to have that could have as much implication. Now, both Cox and Salem are Class 5, but see, that's a Class 6, Class 5 matchup. But Salem has had Cox's number for the most part. In fact, Salem has beaten Cox. Looks like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the last 9 years. Only a 42-35 win for Cox during Tavion Robinson, Leno Lester's junior year in 2017. So, Bill Stachowski and the crew, if that game does have, I think the winner's going to be at home in the playoffs. You figure the loser might have to go on the road. That could be one of those situations there in Region 5A. Well, that's going to just about do it. Are we out of games now?
We're out of games.
However, you got something else.
But I do want to ask Mr. Hatfield here, the reigning top dog.
Let's hear it.
In predicting or knowing his stuff about teams.
Okay.
So I'm going to run through the state regions.
All right.
With the state champion of last year, you're going to tell me should repeat, might repeat, won't repeat.
I can't tell you Pete and Repeat were on a boat. Pete fell off. Who was left?
Repeat?
Pete and Repeat were on a boat. Pete fell off. Who was left?
Let's go Region 6.
Doesn't want to play that game.
You got to play into his shenanigans once in a while because he's a kid. Okay, he's
kid?
getting a lollipop after the show. So.
I love lollipops.
Right, there'll be one in the basket out in the hallway. You can pick one.
Lollipop, lollipop.
Region 6. No, I want to start with Region 1. We always start with 6. Let's go 1.
All right, what do you got?
Let me know when you're ready.
There you go.
Region 1, Riverheads, who I predicted
Well,
last
it's
year.
Class 1. They're in Region A.
Well, Class, Region. It's all the
It's
same
not the
thing.
same thing.
Same thing.
Well, you know, Robert Casto left. Thad Wheeler came in from War Hill, and Casto came back. It's a weird situation. I think the Gladiators are very, very good, and going against them is tough to do. And I've been burned by this in the past. I love Chilhowie. They lost a lot of seniors, though. I'm going to say at this particular date, because they're still getting reacclimated, I'm going to say they don't repeat and make everybody in Riverheads lands upset at me. The team I'm watching out for right now is Galax. I'm not saying I'm picking Galax to win it. I could see Riverhead stumbling this year, though, before winning the trophy again. However, if they win it again, I'm not going to be surprised because they seem to do it every year. Does that make any sense? You with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm perplexed because I'm trying to think, should I pick them this
Perplexed.
early to win a state title again?
You don't have to.
July. I'm going to say might.
Might. Oh, that's really going on a limb. What
Class,
we got in
class 2, Graham. What's Graham's nickname?
The G-Man. Don't call them the graham crackers. They get mad at you do that. You do something like
Something I
that.
used to eat when I was little. Graham crackers.
Yeah, you
dip
had-
it in milk. Dip the graham cracker in
You're
milk.
terrible.
What a beautiful thing to eat when you're
Is
watching
that what's
cartoon.
wrong with you? All the graham crackers?
That's when life was great.
You know why Graham's going to have a chance? Because they return rising sophomore offensive tackle Brody Meadows, who's 6'6", 280. Again, I repeat, he's 6'6", 280. However, they did lose Cameron Allen, quarterback, defensive back, do-it-all, everything, who's now at Purdue. I think that's a big loss for them. They'll run the ball well. They'll be in the hunt, much like Riverheads. I think the competition may be too fierce. I'm going to say they don't repeat, but they'll be right in the thick of things.
All right, I'll leave it at that and go to Class 3, Heritage of Lynchburg.
Another program I'm very high on. Brad Bradley's an outstanding coach. Losing Jabari Blake, who was one of the best quarterbacks and athletes. They lose some other key parts. They have a program there. I think they have a great chance. I just look across the board and I look at how close that Phoebus game was. I think Phoebus has a great chance. I think Lord Botetourt has an excellent chance. I'm going to say they don't repeat. But listen, the Pioneers, if they get past Lord Botetourt and they get to the state championship game, they're battle tested, they're extremely well coached, they have a very good chance. So believe it or not, they might have the best chance of the three we've mentioned, although I'm going to say don't repeat.
Okay, I'm not going to comment on their status, but I do like the Phantoms of Phoebus
You do
for
like the
Class
Phantoms of
3
Phoebus.
this year in the state. You'll probably hear me later pick them to win a state title.
Okay, fair enough.
Class 4, Woodgrove.
I am guaranteeing you they will not repeat as Class 4 state champions.
They're not around.
No, they're in Class 5 now. That's why.
So they moved up. That's what I'm saying.
moved
Not around.
up. They moved up, so there will be a new Class 4 state
enrollment.
champ.
They have more kids. That's
New
why.
Class 4 state champ. And I'm here to tell you right now, they're going to have a tall task in Class 5 because you know who's in Class 5. Not to mention, they're in the same region as Stonebridge, who gets to the state championship pretty much almost on an annual
Well,
basis.
if we move to Class 5, I'm going to say the words Highland Springs.
And I'm going to say for the first time in VHSL history, there will be a 5-peat. They, along with Hampton and Phoebus, are the only schools in VHSL history to win 4 consecutive state titles. Maury's very good. Indian River, Salem, and Nansemond River in our region. You got Stonebridge, who I mentioned. Some other teams, North Stafford is no slouch. Even in their own region, Highland Springs could get tested by an LC Bird of Arana, Henrico. But I think this team has the makeup. They have the coaching with Lauren Johnson, and they're talented and super deep. Highland Springs, they're the first one I will tell you repeats, and they'll make VHSL history.
I say repeats too. I will pick this class now.
So you're picking repeat, not Pete.
Pete, repeat it.
All right.
And Class 6 is Manchester.
Tom Hull got his first state title, longtime coach in the state of Virginia. Brendan Clark graduated from Notre Dame. They were a senior-heavy class, and I think the competition is just too tough for Manchester to do it again in Class 6. They got to replace Akeem Beeman, Will Pritchard on the line. I think they'll be a good squad and make a nice playoff push, but I just have a hard time seeing Manchester getting all the way back to it. And you know what else is going to hurt Manchester? They're not in Class 6, so they're not going to repeat. They're in Class 5. So there you go. They will not repeat. I'm guaranteeing
We're going to definitely have a new state champion in Class 6 because the team that won last year.
But guess what? How fun is it going to be? It would have been even more fun last year to get the Manchester Highland Springs game. But Manchester hosting Highland Springs on October the 11th. That's going to be a neat game to see.
That should be a neat game. You're right.
Yeah, down to the same region. So that's going to do it for this edition of the High School Sports Talk Plus video show. Comment what you like to see us talk about, what you'd like to see us do. We'll come do the show from your establishment if you'd like to sponsor the video show and see Ed Young's pearly white teeth. Show those pearly white teeth, Coach Young. Come on. It's pearly white teeth.
Can't
You can see Coach Young smile in person. And make sure you listen every Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon,
right here,
to High School Sports Talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1. So long. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Any parting words, Coach Young?
Enjoy that summer because before you know it, this year I predict we're getting snow.
Don't do that.
Of it.
Pete and Repeat were in a boat. Pete fell off and so did Ed Young. Who was left?
I'm just telling you, it's going to snow.
See you later, folks. Talk to you in August.